This ancient mansion has been held together for more than 40 years by Tom Silva. Wearing my tool belt and rolling up my sleeves, I am ready to get to work. However, he recently revealed the parts that the majority of viewers missed when he was 77 years old. Those times when he was almost written off the program completely. Also, you would be mistaken to assume that this is only another retirement tease. What Tom made public was more than a publicity stunt. Everything he has endured was mirrored in it. On the job site and in the background, where things weren't always as smooth as the remodeled houses we've seen him create. Years ago, Tom was on the verge of giving up. It wasn't because he was exhausted or bored. Absolutely not. Reason being the innovative. There was a disconnect between the show's direction and the reality of the job site, the production schedule, the continual changes of camera angles, and the pressure to make things appear nice instead of being good. All of it went against his principles. As a result, he resigned in secret. It was genuine enough that he and his family sat down and thought about life after this old house, even though he never submitted it. How did things shift? The show paid attention. Neither did he act out or demand attention. They let him be because all he wanted was to construct things properly. At that point, Tom went from being merely the contractor to playing a pivotal role in the show's inner workings. And there was substance in that voice. The politics of production were not the only source of difficulty, though. A tragic loss befell the performance in 2018. Tom had a hand in hiring and mentoring new crew member Austin Wilson. However, Wilson passed away unexpectedly while on set. Tom felt the pain of more than simply a team loss. On a personal level, Austin was more than simply an associate. To him, he was the fifth member of the family. Because of how intense the grief was, Tom thought about just running away. But eventually, with the help of the crew, as well as Austin's relatives, he returned. Although he didn't feel obligated to, he felt an obligation to continue serving the team, the audience, and perhaps even himself. Tom has always been unique because of his strong sense of duty. He isn't one to pose for snapshots. He loves the craft, which is why he builds. Because of his sincerity and dedication to performing his work well, his audience has faith in him. As a result, the crew and the audience resisted producers' attempts to bring in younger, more glamorous faces. They were afraid they would lose the man who had shown them how to measure for a new window and how to hang paneling. Their ideal candidate would have been the rock-solid confidant who never sought attention but always seemed to know what to do. Tom eventually took on even more of a supporting role. He was doing more than just hammering nails. He was also advising on project decisions, establishing technical standards, and guiding the careers of future engineers. Charlie Silva, his nephew, landed a spot in the program in that way. He was not given a role by Tom. He made sure he was prepared by having him work on minor tasks initially. Like all of Tom's work, the transfer was subtle, based on mutual trust and demonstrated competence. Currently, even at the age of 77, he wears his work boots and inspects framing on construction sites to ensure that the finished product lives up to the high standards he has always upheld. His motivation is not to gain fame. There will be no farewell tour if he does this. The importance of the task motivates him. The work is still important. That level of commitment is unusual in today's age of easy solutions and shortcuts. Next up, Tom Silva is more than simply that man you see on TV wielding a hammer. Every major refurbishment this old house has undergone over the years has relied on him. And by major, we mean undertakings that call for strategic planning, decisions at the structural level, and the kind of deft hand-eye coordination that would put the majority of individuals to sleep before they ever start their careers. Engineering, design consultation, and everything in between have all been under Tom's purview. Selecting the appropriate materials and ensuring that everything works on television without, disintegrating mid-shot. Even if his position isn't exactly a golden one, the squad knows who's in charge. He's the one wearing the flannel and holding a game plan and a tape measure. From Bob VA through Steve Thomas and now Kevin O'Connor, Tom has remained a continuous host throughout the years. Beloved used instrument, he merely persists in his task, continues to appear, and in some way, never corrodes. Over time, he transitioned from contractor to individual responsible for ensuring the project's professional and physical stability. It was obvious that Tom wasn't merely a teammate, he was the team's glue when Norm Abrams left in 2022. The producers didn't only retain his services. They sought his input to mold the initiatives, oversee construction, and create a timetable for the season. Because after all that time, people will finally admit, okay, yeah, you're in charge. If you happen to catch any of the 2021 to 2025 seasons of Brookline, Westford, or Ridgewood, you can be sure that Tom was heavily involved. In the woodworking, in the project planning, in the safety setup, and even in ensuring that the crew's equipment could manage both sawdust and HD cameras. Tom also had the unusual power to choose his own successor, which was not granted to most individuals on set. Naturally, he didn't decide that in a week. No way. He did what he always did and tried it out first. Tom progressively brought his nephew Charlie Silva into the limelight as the principal builder after he proved himself in smaller projects and more subdued roles. Sparse, non-existent. Transfer payments, merely earned respect Silva style. Tom continued with Charlie. When other experts like Marraro, Jen, and Heath needed assistance with finishing, landscaping, or electrical, he was the one to call. If something plugs in, sprouts roots, or requires a second coat, it's likely that Tom has double-checked it. As of 2020, he has taken on even more, collaborating with area vocational schools and the Old House's Generation Next program to educate and train new generations of workers. The incoming crop of competent employees. Even though he's busy with advisory board work and forum appearances, he still has time to show off tools to children who still don't understand the difference between a lunchbox and a level. It's crazy that Tom stayed put, sharpened his skills, and was always in demand in a world where shows traded off cast members like socks. According to PBS polls, he is one of the most beloved PBS personalities, particularly among fans who have been tuning in since disco era. Existed at the time. But that's not all that makes him appealing. It's the uncommon combination of expertise, patience, and the capacity to articulate intricate tasks without coming across as boastful. By itself, that's a talent. Just two guys with a toolbox, high standards, and zero tolerance for sloppy shortcuts. That's what Tom Silva and his brother were before they became the face of craftsmanship on national television. Silva Brothers is their business. The construction industry did not become famous for its fast repairs or its pursuit of fads. Their reputation was established in the same manner as their houses, firmly, levelly, and with all corners covered. They were hired by WGBH-TV to construct the Victory Garden set after their reputation for careful craftsmanship attracted the attention of several notable names. Yes, I understand. Tom was busy building the groundwork for a new deck while his competitors were busy mending existing ones, which would go on to have an illustrious career in educational television. It became clear that that work was more than just another one. Because of this, producer Russell Morrish took notice of Tom. Just as you were about to ask, "Where's my level?" he was enlisted to provide a hand with a brand new experiment known as This Old House. While working as a subcontractor on a restoration project known as the Greek Revival in Massachusetts, Dorchester. Before long, though, it became clear that he wasn't your average hammer wielder. He possessed the unique ability to simplify complex problems and make seemingly impossible tasks appear effortless. He was formally confirmed as the show's permanent contractor in 1988. After that, the idea of replacing him has completely slipped everyone's minds. In the following 40, Tom became a rock in a constantly shifting world over the years. Hairlines shrank, hosts departed, and tool technology evolved. Tom, though, was ever present, and he handled each difficult project with his usual steady hand and no-nonsense attitude. Countless renovations featured on PBS bear his signature. He wasn't limited to little colonial houses but rather to large historic renovations. By constructing homes, he was ensuring the preservation of heritages, one beam at a time. In the late 90s, he faced a particularly remarkable struggle at Westwood's Wetherb Farm. Imagine this: a crumbling old house made of timber with a sloping roof that seemed like it might cave in at any moment. Tom and his crew faced the challenge of reinforcing the building while preserving its historic character. Like performing orthopedic surgery while ensuring the patient seems runway ready. It off, naturally, because in times of chaos, Tom reaches for his pencil and begins to draw solutions. Yet, his impact extends much beyond the confines of the construction site. Also, Tom has put in a lot of time and effort to make his hard-won knowledge useful to others. Readers who likely chewed off more drywall than they could chew often get their questions answered by him in this vintage home publication. Thankfully, he doesn't use any jargon in his advice, which is clear, practical, and to the point. Like a builder, he writes, "Express yourself clearly, firmly, and with the perfect amount of support." His writings were also used in educational settings. If Tom says this is how to install crown molding, then that's how it is. That's why his advice, techniques, and how-to breakdowns are used as teaching aids in trade schools all around New England. He was a co-author on 2 books in 2004, The Homeowner's Manual and Complete Remodeling, a pair of novels. These take pride of place on the shelf of any dedicated do-it-yourselfer, among the coffee-stained plans and the bag of screws they vow to organize at some point. Tom Silva did not become famous the moment he stepped foot on set. He deserved it. A production meeting, a single column, and a single challenging project at a time. Like constructing a building, he constructed his profession from the ground up, skillfully and methodically, without cutting corners in the slightest. He is still working on the job site at the age of 77. He is not obliged to be, but rather chooses to be. There will be no retirement announcements or big farewell. Just another day of doing what he likes, which is boosting confidence in others and, perhaps, leaving younger men wondering how he manages to keep running circles around them. It's safe to say that you probably assumed Tom Silva was going to retire soon. Quit overthinking it. No, I'm still in. Silva essentially confirmed his continued involvement in an interview with Internal Production earlier this year. The enormous rehabilitation projects in Westford and Ridgewood are still in full swing, yes. Not only does he improve people's homes, but he also improves their expectations. Please wait, things will improve. After all that, you may have caught a glimpse of him on film, slinging hammers and knowledge like drywall. He has also been secretly orchestrating events at Silva Brothers Construction. Even though he delegated management responsibilities to his nephew Charlie in 2022, he had a firm grasp on the company's long-term strategy throughout that time. Charlie is likely still double-checking everything before showing Tom. It is possible that Tom has taken a break from the routine, yet refrained from. It's as if he's casting a heist film. He still attends strategy meetings, gives the ultimate okay on top-secret, high-stakes projects, and selects technical crews with the same intensity. Please, Charlie, do not feel obligated. You believed he ceased to make the significant decisions. Guess whose opinion still matters when it comes to allocating resources, upgrading equipment, or buying that new excavator? In Tom's overseas advisor, constructor wizard for intelligent translation. Instead of getting bogged down by paperwork or chased after invoices, he gets to keep doing the awesome stuff. A win-win situation is that. By the way, he's not just constructing homes, he's also establishing the business. Tom is the go-to guy for a number of Massachusetts trade groups. This is due to the fact that the time comes when NCB, who does and remodeling contact when they need to enhance training or boost safety standards. This is not the Ghostbusters. Their name is Silva. A technical database for self-employed tradespeople was co-created by the man. If you're in Massachusetts and you have a nail gun, it's likely that Silva was involved in writing the instructions. Now, you may be wondering the same thing, as well as a few changes to Boston's POSO-ID building rules. Also, Tom had a hand in shaping those. He's doing more than keeping up, he's actually changing the game. And how, at the age of 77, is he managing to keep everything straight? In a nutshell, structured anarchy. Well, perhaps 3 further. Age, knowledge, Joe. Tom has this great arrangement going where he splits his time between mentoring, advising, engineering, and production. Think tank meets leadership seminar meets home improvement show. In essence, he has figured out how veterans are able to continue making a difference without succumbing to exhaustion. The magician himself, Tom, has always preferred to keep to himself. Just him, his wife Susan, who he has been with since the late 70s, and his warm, 19th-century home in the Boston suburbs. No ostentatious red carpets or salacious headlines. Really, it's just right. Tom has been steadily constructing a solid reputation while others seek limelight. Is Tom Silva, then, reducing his pace? Unless you consider switching gears between tasks to be a slowdown, then yes. The man's blood still contains sawdust, and he can't seem to get away from plans. Truthfully, we aren't complaining. Tom Silva's home extends beyond his physical residence. A lot of love went into it. They worked together for many years. A kind of quiet masterpiece has been created as a result of the family's hands-on renovations. Not because it's showy, but because it's well-planned, purposeful, and lovingly constructed. This house fits the profile of the ones featured in our Vintage Home magazine. Kate and TJ, his children, have gone in different directions than you might think, not wearing tool belts. Neither the construction industry nor television are their strong suits, but when the family business requires assistance, they're the unsung heroes who keep the wheels of commerce turning, particularly in the financial and media industries. It turns out that Tom's house is really a representation of his whole work philosophy. Always construct with purpose, preserve what counts, and enhance what makes sense. The Massachusetts Council on Historic Preservation invited him to speak at a conference about historic renovation for that very reason. He described did his own refurbishment with an eye toward sustainability, preserving the home's original character, and optimizing space utilization. This wasn't your average remodel. The reimagining was done with care. Indeed, the project was executed with such precision that it has been formally recognized in the state's architectural archives as an exemplar of successful non-commercial restoration. However, Tom is the exception. He prefers not to be the center of attention. He has a reputation for keeping his private life out of the public eye while he has dedicated his life's work to advancing craftsmanship and education. He is highly esteemed by his colleagues because, as his team puts it, let's keep it about the work, not about me. This policy has been in place since 2005, and his colleagues appreciate him for it. Status as a celebrity doesn't interest him. A simple desire to do good deeds and assist others motivates him. Additionally, Tom is secretly participating in something very significant. He is involved with organizations that provide vocational training to youth, particularly those from low-income families. His name is featured as a professional advisor in their annual reports, but he isn't making a big deal out of it on social media or in interviews. I don't understand what he does. A touch of each and everything. Reviewing training programs, assisting with tool needs assessments, and even making personal appearances to demonstrate skills are all part of the service. Tom is well known for more than only his construction work in the trades community. A guiding light, an inspiration, and a calm voice. He is all three. To this day, his guidelines are considered the gold standard for responsible, safe construction. Tom Silva stands out in that respect. Well, he's not merely constructing homes. In a calm, consistent, and honest approach, he is helping to construct futures. Thinking about it makes it seem incredible. Some Massachusetts technical high schools have incorporated Tom Silva's writings into their course syllabi. This class is learning how to construct by observing others. Movies shot at this historic home, showcasing his work in progress. His art has become well respected in that regard, deserving of both television and the classroom. Here is the thing that sets Tom apart from the rest. He has never aspired to stardom. He isn't the kind to appear in flashy home expos or power tool advertisements. He has no interest in seeking out sponsorship deals or that he might become famous. That was an intentional decision. In order to pay attention to the task and the people who do it, he has consistently told the noise to shut up. These days, that's somewhat unusual, isn't it? Tom Silva is dedicated to his art, constructing homes, and training people at a time when everyone else is attempting to get popularity online. He exemplifies the idea that understatement can yield significant results. His profound honesty and unwavering reliability have garnered him immense admiration and esteem. For decades, he has been the go-to person because he always shows up, gets the job done well, and never skimps. When tradespeople see Tom, they perceive more than simply a skilled constructor. To them, you are the very embodiment of pride in your work. Someone who knows that the real key is not the method but the reasoning behind one's actions. Indeed, Tom Silva remains relevant even as fads come and go. A rock-solid individual, an expert craftsman, and, truthfully, an inspiration that, even in a world preoccupied with expediency, doing things properly is important. You already know why Tom is deserving of praise if you've ever enjoyed the aroma of sawdust, the sound of a perfectly struck hammer, or the contentment that comes from a job well done. If a tale like this were to, if it resonates with you, perhaps share it. Because the unsung heroes often have the greatest impact. Please share this with someone who appreciates quality work and kind people.